Hello, so patch 3.23 is right around the corner and due for release sometime in April. It's currently being tested by Evocati and soon in the coming days or weeks I would imagine that it being available for Wave 1 backers. This appears to be a very beefy patch with lots of stuff being added, and if previous large patches are anything to go by, it'll be a buggy mess to begin with. I always say that the best time to play Star Citizen is just before a large patch, as this is the time when the game is most stable and not as many people are there clogging up the servers, as was the case with 3.17 for example. It was barely payable when it hit live for the first month or so. Of course 3.17 introduced PES, or Persistent Entity Streaming, and to use a metaphor, that was like removing the foundations of a house and replacing them, whereas this next patch, 3.23, is more like adding some more furniture and changing a few paintings on the wall to bring it up to date, and there seems to be a lot of it as well. So let's get stuck in and go through the majority of what is, or at least mostly confirmed, for patch 3.23. So from this video posted on their Twitter page, it looks like we're going to be getting a few animals. This is certainly going to fill the verse out and make it feel a little bit more alive, although in saying that I can't wait to just go and start killing them. Now, next up we have the new UI for the Starmap and Ground Map, mobiglass and the visor. Here we're looking at the new UI in the visor for looting, which looks like it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to loot and also see what ammo fits with what guns and easily be able to transfer loot back and forth. And here we have some of the adjusted UI for quick buying items. Note the mini-map in the top left corner as well, which is pretty cool. And here is a clip of the new Starmap, which is looking pretty sweet, and one thing I really like about it is how you can then zoom into the ground map of either the ship or the station that you're at, and I can't wait to do that. And here's a still of the new mobiglass that's looking much more user friendly. Next up we have our personal hangars that is currently only going to be at the station that you start at, but this will allow you to personalize your hangar and put all sorts of stuff knocking around, put all your items out, put all your gear. And also this is going to be linked with the freight elevators, which is going to be linked so that you can have cargo that you can release into your hangar and then move across to your ship and vice versa. This is going to work by accessing a new terminal that will be in your personal hangar that you can then access your inventory to then load into the freight elevator and then move up into your persistent hangar. We'll also be getting new item bank and unique item recovery terminals that will allow you to recover and also move around your personal items such as guns, weapons, armor. We're also going to be getting some improved EVA controls and animations for smoother traversal and 0G. This is something that I think is really going to be a game changer and really add to immersion, because at the moment going from a ship with the gravity on the ship to then flying out into space or vice versa, it's just a head mess and you just end up spinning all over the place. So this is going to make a real change to the game and how you play in that everyday situation when you're doing stuff, moving from one place to the next. I think this is just going to add so much to the game, and it just looks awesome as well. It's going to make such a difference. We will also be getting a much updated character creator that we can really play with and alter and sculpt to create the character that you really want to, and I think they're going to keep adding to this over time as well. Distribution centres. Now this is going to be a big one, and God knows how this is going to work. So these are large planet-side structures that are going to be owned by various factions and groups within the lore of the game that you're going to be able to do missions for and have missions run from, and you're also going to be able to aggress other distribution centres and have PvP and PvE on the same site, so that's going to be really interesting. They talk about someone doing a cargo mission while in the background someone else might be doing an assassination mission, or those two missions might intertwine, and you might then find yourself having to defend the distribution centre while it's under attack from another player, or vice versa. Either way, these distribution centres are going to be a hive of activity, and it's going to be really interesting to see that kind of dynamic gameplay between players and also environment and PvE going on in the same spaces. And it's just something that I'm not quite sure how well it's going to work, but I'm definitely looking forward to giving it a go. And if that wasn't enough, all of the FPS is getting a big update as well, so all the guns and all the scopes are getting updated and being adjusted and made to work and look a hell of a lot better. One feature I quite like the sound of is a backpack reload, so obviously you can carry ammo on your armour and you'll be able to reload your weapon from that quickly. But if you run out of that and you have more in your backpack, you'll be able to do a slightly slower animation reload and reload from your backpack, which is going to be quite cool. We're going to have a dynamic crosshair, which to me just looks like the crosshair wobbles about a bit if you're moving, and they just generally talk about it being brought up to AAA standards for a first-person shooter of this age. And finally we have master modes, which is going to be the new flight model system for the game. Like it or love it, it's definitely coming. It was in Arena Commander for testing for quite a while and lots of people gave feedback, and from what I can tell not much actually changed with the system that they had in place, so that's going to be interesting to see how the community react to that. So I've probably missed a few things out there. I know that they're going to be updating the reputation, they're obviously going to add some new missions into the game as well, but I think I've covered pretty much most of the sort of major things that are going to be added. Please hit me up in the comments if you know of anything else that's being added, as you know, I want a kind of tick list of things to try out and do when this patch hits live. But this does feel like a big patch with lots of little things and big things added as well, and it's going to be really interesting to see how the servers cope with all of this. Not sure whether sort of the static server meshing is going to be in as well, but we shall see. I know they've been testing it in Ibakati as well with like 800 players and playing around with moving the static meshes around and seeing how that works. So it's definitely going to be a fun patch, and I do think it's going to be quite broken at first, but give it time and it will definitely get better as previous ones have shown. So till the next time, take it easy.